Yo, what's up everybody? I'm coming at you with another tier list video. Today I'm ranking every special move from Bowser's Inside Story. We're going from worst to best, and I'm including both Mario and Luigi's Bros attacks and Bowser's special moves. Let's start with the absolute worst move in the game. If you watched my Bowser's Inside Story video, you might think that I'm gonna put one of Bowser's moves at the bottom. But no. Introducing the Spin Pipe. I didn't realize it at the time of my playthrough, but this is actually a secret Bros attack that I didn't pick up. Hence why there's no footage. Yeah, sorry about that, but in my defense, the point in time when you unlock the Spin Pipe, it wouldn't really be the most useful attack anyways. So here on the bottom, in the Who Are You tier, is the Spin Pipe. Now let's get to the good part, the actual bad attacks. Number 15, we got Bob-omb Blitz. To me, this is definitely the worst attack in the game. It does have its strengths. It does good damage, causes dizzy, and can hit multiple grounded targets. Sounds good on paper, but the biggest issue of this attack, and every attack in these low tiers, is their usability. One thing I harped on in the critique of this game is the pacing. Specifically for Bowser, but also for Mario and Luigi too. The way bosses are placed throughout the games and when you unlock certain attacks don't really match up. When there isn't a single fight where you would want to use an attack over something else, like with Bob-omb Blitz, that means the attack sucks. Low tier. Number 14. Next up we got Super Bouncer. This is my pick for the worst Mario and Luigi attack in the game. It's a multi-target move that you get right after you just got another perfectly viable multi-target move. But that's not its biggest problem. No, Super Bouncer earned this spot thanks to what I think are the worst controls in the entire game. I don't know if I was just bad, which, trust me, is very possible, but I could not consistently hit this attack at all. That, combined with having to deal with awful depth perception, made me never use this attack throughout my playthrough. It maybe took 20 attempts just to get this footage for the video. Not good. Number 13, Mighty Meteor. It truly is the epitome of poor pacing. You get this attack 5 minutes before getting one of the best attacks in the game. The only saving grace this attack has is that it gets you a free item. Unfortunately, you're never really hurting for any items or money throughout the game, so it doesn't actually save the attack. I think most people agree that this attack is somewhere close, if not at the very bottom, but I happen to like how this attack looks and controls, so I put it one spot above. Number 12, the Koopa Corps. So at this point, I'm like a broken record, but this will be the final time I'm gonna mention pacing issues. Bowser unlocks this attack at the point in the game where he unlocks all of his special moves pretty much all at once. This is half exaggeration and also half completely true. In between the mid-bis fight and the next fight, which is also mid-bis, Bowser unlocks 4 of his 6 special moves. Some of these moves are really strong and awesome, but others, like the Koopa Corps, not so much. The saving grace for this move is that it's actually pretty good. It has some of the easiest controls of all of Bowser's moves, does good damage to all enemies, but damn do you never get to use it. Unfortunately, not good. Number 11. Now it's time to get into the not bad special moves. Starting with the Shy Guy Squad. This is a pretty standard attack, does decent damage to any enemy, pretty basic, but here's the kicker, it's actually usable. You get this attack early on, and can actually use it on the first mid-bis fight. It's decent. Number 10. Continuing the trend of basic attacks, leads us to the most basic attack of all time, the Green Shell. The Green Shell is the first Bros attack in multiple Mario and Luigi games, and it's always pretty decent. Can hit multiple grounded targets for decent damage. Nothing special, but good for the early game. Number 9, Goomba Storm. This is actually Bowser's first special move. It has a similar targeting mechanic to the Green Shell, where it's single target but will switch targets after defeating the original enemy, but this one does a lot of damage for how basic it is. It hits 20 times and can burn, so pretty decent. Number 8, Fire Flower. Another one of the stable Mario Bros attacks throughout the series. Fire Flower is the first multi-hit move you unlock. It hits aerial enemies, it can burn, but its power can't really stand up to the later moves on this list. Still, pretty decent. Number 7. Kicking off the high tier, we're going with the other secret Bros attack, Magic Window. This attack is this game's infinite. It's very similar to the Copy Flower from Partners in Time. Does great damage, hits every enemy. It might be on the harder side to hit consistently since it gets pretty fast and the doors appear anywhere on either screen, but still pretty good. The only downside I see is that you get it a bit late. You have to defeat the optional Shroobs boss, and by then you already have a lot of great moves, but I still think it deserves high tier. Number 6, Yoo-Hoo Cannon. This is one of Mario and Luigi's most useful moves. You get it pretty early on, and it's the best multi-hit throughout the entire mid-game. It controls pretty easily, all you need to do is remember the different Bros placements. The only issue here is that it attacks randomly, so you might not end up killing your desired enemy on the first turn. But that's okay, since Luigi attacks right after Mario, and his Yoo-Hoo Cannon will pick off the rest of the encounter anyways. High tier. Number 5, Jump Helmet. This is the other one of Mario and Luigi's most useful moves. It's your high damage single target move, and you get it even earlier than Yoo-Hoo Cannon. But unlike Yoo-Hoo Cannon that gets outcompeted by higher damage later in the game, the Jump Helmet is useful throughout the entire game. It's probably the most efficient damage per SP attack in the entire game, and while it doesn't do the absolute max damage possible late game, it's still OHKOing normal enemies for cheap, and is still the best option in certain scenarios, like on the final boss. High tier. Number 4, Snack Basket. At this point, we are getting into the late game attacks. With all the pacing problems I've mentioned throughout both of my videos on this game, Bowser's Inside Story definitely finished super strong. The late game special moves are definitely the best in the game. They all do high damage, have great effects, and are just epic. Snack Basket hits all grounded enemies for high damage. The grounded only targeting is a bit of a problem, but it's overall super useful on a bunch of enemies, including all of the final bosses that have different mechanics revolving around multiple targets that, wouldn't you know, are all grounded. High tier. Number 3, Magikoopa Mob. Our final high tier attack on the list is going to Bowser. Magikoopa Mob is the final normal unlock in Bowser's kit. It has the highest damage output of anything we've seen before by an insanely large margin. This is a great move, but unfortunately it has one single problem. Pacing. Yes, we are back to talking about bad pacing. We thought we left all the pacing problems back in the low tier, but unfortunately it snuck up on us one last time. Depending on whether or not you decided to backtrack out of Peach's castle to return the Blitties, you get Magikoopa Mob after you get Broggy. Spoiler alert, Broggy is Bowser's last and best move in the game, and you get it before Magikoopa Mob. There's not a single boss fight that you would want to use this over Broggy, but it's just too damn good, both against multiple enemies and just in general, that I can't put it any lower than high tier. Plus, if you didn't want to spend your playthrough collecting Blitties, this is a perfectly fine attack to beat the game with. Alright, it's time to get into the top tier. There's 2 attacks that I believe stand above the rest. We've pretty much already spoiled both of them throughout the video, but if you played this game before, it was pretty obvious from the start which attacks were on top. Let's start with number 2, Broggy Bonker. Broggy Bonker is Bowser's final attack that you unlock by collecting all 15 Blitties throughout the game, and then returning them to the Brock Monsieur. I don't think there are any significant arguments against this attack being top 2. It has a pseudo multi-target feature where it targets a second enemy after it kills the first one. It also causes Dizzy, which doesn't really matter because you're OHKOing any enemy that Broggy touches. The most important part of this attack though is the damage output. Other attacks do hundreds of damage to enemies, but Broggy Bonker does thousands. Check out this single attack from my playthrough on one of the final bosses. It's crazy. This thing is top tier. Now it's time for the final attack in the game. Number 1, Falling Star. Mario and Luigi's ultimate attack. It's in the 4-figure damage tier. It has one of the best effects in defense down, which increases its insane damage even further. It also has one extra benefit that puts it over Broggy Bonker for me. And that is Mario and Luigi. Mario and Luigi have so many bonuses that Bowser just doesn't have in the game. Bowser has Fury that's random and can increase his damage, but Mario and Luigi have badges that do the same thing but consistently. And they have the strongest mechanic in the game. There's 2 of them. 2 bros, both using Falling Star. You can kill the final boss in 1 turn if you wanted to. Top tier, best attack in the game. And that's my list. As always, let me know what you think, and be on the lookout for my next video on Partners in Time coming soon. See you guys later.